KidsBooks.
Today's kids' book is Goodnight Peppa, starring Peppa Pig. One night, Granny and Grandpa Pig came over for dinner. Later that night, Mommy and Daddy Pig were going out. Granny and Grandpa Pig would stay and babysit Peppa and George. It was almost bedtime for Peppa and George, but they weren't tired at all. "Can we jump in muddy puddles just for a tiny bit?" asked Peppa. "Okay," said Daddy Pig, "but just until bath time." Peppa and George jumped up and down until they were covered in mud, but they weren't tired yet. "Peppa! George!" called Daddy Pig. "Time to take a bath before bed." Peppa and George splashed in the bath until they were both nice and clean. "You must be tired after all that splashing," said Daddy Pig. "We're not even a bit tired," cried Peppa. laughed George. Peppa and George hopped out of the bathtub. Then they dried off and put on their pajamas very slowly. Then they brushed their teeth for an extra long time. Brush, brush, brush. "Time to get in bed," said Mummy Pig. "We want to tuck you in." "Yippee!" cheered Peppa. Mummy and Daddy Pig were ready to leave. "Remember, Granny and Grandpa Pig are right downstairs if you need anything," said Mummy Pig. "Good night, Peppa." "Good night, George." Mummy and Daddy Pig got in their car and left for the evening. "George, are you awake?" Peppa asked. George snorted. The lights were off, and they were cozy in their beds, but they couldn't fall asleep. Granny and Grandpa Pig were watching TV when they heard little feet come downstairs. "Peppa? George? You should be in bed," said Granny Pig. "We aren't sleepy at all," said Peppa Pig. "Can we watch TV with you?" Granny Pig smiled. "Well, I suppose watching a little TV might make you sleepy." "Hooray!" shouted George and Peppa. Peppa and George didn't like the TV show. "Grandpa Pig," she said, "can you play that game where you throw us up in the air and catch us?" "Okay," said Grandpa Pig, "but only one turn each." Later, Mommy and Daddy Pig returned home from their night out. "The little piggies are asleep," Daddy Pig laughed. "And so are the big piggies." Shh.
KidsBooks.
Today's kids' book is The Little Mermaid with Ariel. It was a very special night. Princess Ariel was going to sing for the Undersea Kingdom. But when it was time for Ariel's solo, she was nowhere to be found. Her father, King Triton, was furious. Ariel had forgotten all about the concert. She was busy exploring an old sunken ship with her friend Flounder. Ariel was curious about the human world. Sometimes that got her into trouble. Triton warned Ariel that humans were wicked and dangerous, but when she saw a ship in a storm, Ariel just had to take a closer look. A handsome human named Prince Eric fell into the stormy sea. Ariel raced to save him. With all her might, she pulled him up to dry land. When King Triton found out what Ariel had done, he was angrier than ever. He ordered her never, ever to go near humans again. The sea witch Ursula offered to use her magic to give Ariel legs, but in exchange, Ariel had to give up her beautiful voice. Ariel quickly agreed to the trade. Ursula took Ariel's voice and put it into a magic seashell. Ariel loved her human legs. Having 2 feet and 10 toes was marvelous. Now she could look for the handsome prince she had rescued. It did not take Ariel long to find Prince Eric. He liked Ariel, but he was searching for the girl with the beautiful voice who had rescued him. Prince Eric took Ariel to his palace, but Ariel had trouble understanding how things worked in the human world. Meanwhile, Ursula was up to no good. She changed herself into a beautiful young woman named Vanessa. Then she used Ariel's voice to make Prince Eric fall in love with her, instead of Ariel. As soon as Prince Eric heard her beautiful voice, he asked Vanessa to marry him. Ariel was heartbroken. The Little Mermaid's friend Scuttle told her that Vanessa was really Ursula. Ariel had to stop her true love from marrying the evil sea witch. Scuttle and his bird friends pulled the magic seashell off Vanessa's neck. Ariel's voice was released. As soon as she could speak, Prince Eric realized it was Ariel he had loved all along. Ursula was furious. She turned back into her true self and attacked Ariel and Prince Eric. But the brave prince drove a ship into the sea witch, and Ursula was gone forever. King Triton realized how much Ariel and Prince Eric loved each other. He used his magic to change the Little Mermaid into a human for good. Ariel and Prince Eric were married, and everyone, merfolk and humans alike, lived happily ever after.
KidsBooks.
Pinkalicious by Victoria and Elizabeth Kahn. It was a rainy day, too wet to go outside. Mommy said, "Let's make cupcakes. What color do you want?" "Pink," I said. "Pink, pink, pink." Mommy put in some pink. "More," I cried. "More, more, more." I gobbled up a couple of cupcakes while Mommy and I frosted them. They were so yummy. They were Pinkalicious. I offered one to Peter, my little brother, but he is very picky and didn't want to eat his. So I ate it. "Please, Mommy, can I have just one more?" I begged when I woke up from my nap. "You get what you get and you don't get upset," she said. But I got very upset. After dinner, I ate more cupcakes. Then I refused to go to bed. "Just one more cupcake and I'll go to sleep," I promised. Daddy waved a tired finger at me. "You have had enough." The next morning when I woke up, I was pink. My face was pink, my hands were pink, and my belly was the color of a sunset. Daddy thought I had played with the markers, so he gave me a bath. The pink did not come off. My hair was the color of raspberry sorbet. I cried because I was so beautiful. I even had pink tears. I put on my pink fairy princess dress and twirled in front of the mirror while Mommy speed dialed the pediatrician. "I'm Pinkerbell! Look at me! I'm Pinkerbell!" I sang. Mommy grabbed her purse. "Just one more cupcake. Please, just one more!" I yelled on the way out the door. Mommy took me right to the doctor's office. Dr. Wink looked at me and said, "You have a very rare and acute case of pinkatitis." I guess that's not the worst thing that could happen. Just call me Pinkarella. Then Dr. Wink said, "For the next week, no more pink cupcakes, pink bubblegum, or pink cotton candy." Boo! To return to normal, you must eat a steady diet of green food. Yuck. On the way home, we stopped at the playground. My friend Allison was there, but she didn't see me because I blended in with the pink peonies. When I waved to Allison, a bumblebee landed on my nose. "Buzz off! I am not a flower," I scolded the bee. Soon I was surrounded by bees, butterflies, and birds. "Mommy!" I cried. "Please take me home." When we left the playground, I asked Mommy if I could eat another pink cupcake when we got home. "Don't you remember what the doctor told you?" she said. "No more cupcakes." Peter tugged at my pink tails. "I wish I were pink like you," he said. He was green with envy. That night, I pretended to eat my dinner of mushy, dark green vegetables. After everyone went to sleep, I sneaked into the kitchen, climbed onto a chair, and reached on my tippy toes to the top of the refrigerator where Mommy had hidden the cupcakes. I took just one more pink cupcake and ate it. Then I licked the pink cupcake wrapper clean. When I woke up in the morning, I felt different. I ran to the mirror and peered at my reflection. I was a deeper pink than I had ever seen. In fact, I was no longer pink. I was red. "Oh no, not red!" I screamed. I didn't want to be red. I should not have eaten that pink cupcake last night. I wanted to be myself again. I knew what I had to do. I opened the fridge, held my nose, and squeezed a bottle of icky green relish onto my tongue. I ate pickles and spinach, olives and okra. I choked down artichokes, gagged on grapes, and burped up Brussels sprouts. Next thing I knew, my arms tickled, my ears tingled, and my feet twitched. I was no longer red. I was no longer pink. I was me, and I was beautiful. So what happened to the rest of the cupcakes, Pinkalicious? Daddy asked. Just then, Peter ran in and yelled, "Pinkaboo!"
KidsBooks.
Today's kids book is Always in Trouble by Corinne Dimmis, pictures by Noah Z. Jones. Emma's dog Toby was always in trouble. On Monday, he got into the garbage. On Tuesday, he ran into the road. On Wednesday, he ate a loaf of bread that Emma's dad had just baked. On Thursday, he barked in the middle of the night. On Friday, he wet the rug. On Saturday, he chewed up all the buttons on Emma's new coat. On Sunday, he snoozed. But on Monday morning, he got into the garbage again. "Something has to be done about that dog," said Emma's mom. "Maybe he isn't getting enough attention," said Emma. So all day Monday, she gave Toby lots of attention. She took him for walks and brushed his fur and sang him silly songs. But on Tuesday, Toby ate a box of crayons. On Wednesday, he jumped into the basket of clean laundry that Emma's mom had just finished folding. He was very good on Thursday. He was very good on Friday. But on Saturday, he chewed up a magazine. And on Sunday, he went wading in the muddy brook and then ran across the clean kitchen floor. "Something has to be done about that dog," cried Emma's mom. "Maybe he needs to go to dog training school," said Emma. "What a great idea," said Emma's mom. The first class started the next day. There were 10 dogs in Toby's class. Some were big and some were little. Some barked and some yipped and some growled and some whined. Toby was quiet as a goldfish. He behaved perfectly at school every week and did everything just right. When Emma said sit, he sat. When Emma said come, he came. When Emma said heel, he stood right by her side. "He was the best dog," said Mrs. Katz, the teacher, when the classes were all over. At graduation, she gave Toby a diploma with a gold seal. Emma's mom tacked the diploma low down on the wall, right over Toby's dog dish. "Now you know how to behave," she said to Toby. But on Monday, Toby got into the garbage. On Tuesday, he ran into the road. And on Wednesday, he ate the cookies that Emma's dad had just baked. On Thursday, he barked in the middle of the night and woke everyone up. On Friday, he wet the rug. On Saturday, he dug up the petunias Emma and her mom had just planted. On Sunday, he chewed up his diploma. "Something has to be done about that dog," cried Emma's mom. Emma took him back to dog school. "Does he sit?" asked Mrs. Katz. "Yes," said Emma. "Does he come?" asked Mrs. Katz. "Yes," said Emma. "Does he heel?" asked Mrs. Katz. "Yes," said Emma. "Well, then what's the trouble?" asked Mrs. Katz. So Emma told her. "I see," said Mrs. Katz. "If you want a specially trained dog, you'll have to leave him with me for the week." "Okay," said Emma. Emma missed Toby all week. He was very happy to see her when she picked him up. "I hope you've learned something this time," said Emma's mom. "Please, Toby," Emma whispered to him. "You've got to be good now." Toby licked Emma's face. He had a strange twinkle in his eye. On Monday, he took out the garbage. On Tuesday, he baked some bread. On Wednesday, he vacuumed the rug. On Thursday, he folded the laundry. On Friday, he washed the kitchen floor. On Saturday, he planted some petunias. And on Sunday, he snoozed. But no dog can be perfect always, not even Toby.
KidsBooks.
Today's kids book is Big Red Barn by Margaret Wise Brown, pictures by Felicia Bond. By the big red barn in the great green field, there was a pink pig who was learning to squeal. There was a great big horse and a very little horse. And on every barn is a weather vane, of course, a golden flying horse. There was a big pile of hay and a little pile of hay, and that is where the children play. But in this story, the children are away. Only the animals are here today. The sheep and the donkey, the geese and the goats were making funny noises down in their throats. An old scarecrow was leaning on his hoe, and a field mouse was born in a field of corn. Cock-a-doodle-doo! In the barn there was a rooster, and a pigeon too, and a big white hen standing on one leg, and under the hen was a quiet egg. There was a bantam rooster and a little bantam hen, with a big clutch of eggs. Count them, there are 10. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Moo! Moo! There was a big brown cow and a little brown cow. There was an old black cat, meow, meow, and a tiger tomcat, yow, yow. There was a big red dog, bow, wow, with some little puppy dogs, all round and warm. And they all lived together in the big red barn. And they played all day in the grass and in the hay. When the sun went down in the great green field, the big cow lowed and the little pig squealed. The horses stomped in the sweet warm hay, and the little donkey gave one last bray. The hens were sleeping on their nests. Even the roosters took a rest. The little black bats flew away out of the barn at the end of the day, and there they were all night long, sound asleep in the big red barn. Only the mice were left to play, rustling and squeaking in the hay, while the moon sailed high in the dark night sky.
KidsBooks.
Today's kids book is Goodnight, Goodnight Construction Site by Sherry Dusky-Rinker and Tom Lichtenheld. Down on the big construction site, the tough trucks work with all their might to build a building, make a road, to get the job done, load by load. The sun has set, the work is done. It's time for trucks to end their fun. So one by one they'll go to bed to yawn and rest their sleepy heads, then wake up to another day of rough and tough construction play. Working hard to help his team, Crane Truck raises one last beam. Reaching, stretching, lifting high, he swings the beam into the sky. He'll set it down right on its mark, then off to bed. It's almost dark. He slowly folds his boom back in, and then with one last sleepy grin, he tucks himself in nice and tight, then cuddles up and says goodnight. Shh, goodnight, Crane Truck, goodnight. Spinning, churning all day long, Cement Mixer sings his whirly song. Now, ooh, he's weary and so dizzy from all that fun that keeps him busy. With one last spin, he pours the load. He's ready now to leave the road. He takes a bath, gets shiny bright, pulls up his chute, turns off his light. He cuts his engine, slows his drum, and dreams sweet dreams of twirly fun. Shh. Good night, Cement Mixer. Good night. Dump Truck loves to work and haul. He carries loads both big and small. He moves the dirt from place to place, then dumps it with a happy face. One final load spills on the heap. Crunch. Now Dump Truck's tired and wants to sleep. He lowers his bed, locks his gate, rests his wheels. It's getting late. He dims his lights, then shuts his doors, and soon his engine slows to snores. Shh. Good night, Dump Truck. Good night. Pushing with his mighty blade, Bulldozer works to smooth the grade. He clears the way to level ground and fills the air with thunderous sound. Roar. No one's as tough and strong as he, but now he's sleepy as can be. He puffs some smoke out of his stack, turns off his engine, stops his track. He curls into his soft dirt bed and dreams of busy days ahead. Shh. Good night, Bulldozer. Good night. Scooping gravel, dirt, and sand, excavator shapes the land. He digs and lifts throughout the day. But now it's time to end his play. A few more holes to dig, and soon he'll roll to bed beneath the moon. He twirls upon his bumpy track, pulls up his boom, stretches his back. He sets his scoop down on the ground and snuggles up without a sound. Shh. Good night, excavator. Good night. These big trucks, so tough and loud, they work so hard, so rough and proud. Tomorrow is another day, another chance to work and play. Turn off your engines, stop your tracks, relax your wheels, your stacks and backs. No more huffing and puffing, team. It's time to rest your heads and dream. Construction site all tucked in tight. The day is done, turn off the light. Great work today. Now, shh. Good night.
KidsBooks.
Today's kids book is Meet Your New Boss with the Boss Baby. Take it from me, the day the new baby arrives, your life will never be the same. That baby will be the new boss. Right from the start, he'll yell at people, ordering everyone around. He'll take important phone calls in the middle of your favorite TV show, and when you beg him to be quiet, he'll just scream louder into the phone. He'll stay up late every night and insist that you work late too. He might even throw stuff at you if he doesn't get what he wants, when he wants it. And he wants what he wants right now. But whatever that baby does, even if he has everyone wrapped around his little finger, remember that you are bigger and older and don't require constant power naps. Sure, you could use those facts to your advantage, but it might help if you try to get along. Find out what your boss likes and dislikes. Make his favorite food. Tell him that story he loves. Again, even if you are forced to do something silly like dress in matching outfits for a photo, try to remember that you're both just trying to do your jobs. And right now, your job is to smile for that camera. Before you know it, you might be surprised to find out that you make a pretty great team. And taking care of that little baby is the best job there is.
KidsBooks.
Today's kids book is Trolls by Mary Mann Kong, illustrated by Priscilla Wong. Once upon a time, in a happy forest filled with happy trees, there lived the happiest creatures the world had ever known, the trolls. They loved nothing more than to sing and dance and hug and sing and dance and hug a lot. Today was an especially happy day in Troll Village. Princess Poppy was going to throw a big party. Everyone was excited to celebrate, except Branch. He didn't like singing, dancing, or hugging. Instead, he spent his time worrying about the Bergens. Long ago, the Bergens had captured the trolls and eaten them. The Bergens thought that eating trolls brought them happiness. Luckily, many of the trolls had escaped. Until now. Princess Poppy's celebration was the biggest, loudest, craziest party ever. It was so loud that the Bergen chef found where the trolls had been living all these years. Most of the trolls managed to hide, but Chef was able to scoop up several of them, including Poppy's closest friends, Satin and Chenille, Cooper, Biggie, Guy Diamond, Smidge, DJ Suki, and Creek. Chef couldn't wait to bring the tasty trolls back to Bergentown. Poppy had to save her friends. She convinced Branch to help her. The sooner we get to Bergentown, the sooner we can rescue everybody and make it home safely. Of course, Poppy's plan included making a scrapbook page with plenty of glitter. Meanwhile, thanks to Chef, King Gristle would finally get to eat a troll and experience happiness. The king decided to have a big celebration called Trollstice so all the Bergens could eat trolls and become happy too. When Poppy and Branch got to King Gristle's castle, they found most of their friends hidden in a cage in Bridget, the maid's room. But Creek was missing. Bridget agreed to help them find Creek if they could get King Gristle to notice her. King Gristle will never love me. Poppy knew what to do. Satin and Chenille made Bridget a glitter jumpsuit. Then all the trolls sat on her head to make a super colorful rainbow wig. Bridget loved her makeover. She called herself Lady Glitter Sparkles. The king would certainly notice her now. When King Gristle saw Lady Glitter Sparkles, he fell in love. He didn't realize she was his maid. The king took her roller skating. He showed her his new locket. Creek was inside. Later, the trolls snuck into the king's room to save Creek. They grabbed the locket and zoomed past the king, his pet, and his guards. But when Poppy opened the locket, Creek wasn't there. Poppy was sad to learn that to save his own life, Creek had told Chef where all the other trolls of Troll Village were hiding. How could Creek have betrayed his friends? Then everyone was trapped in a pot. Poppy lost all hope, and her color started to fade. The other trolls lost their color too. They turned gray with sadness. Suddenly, they heard a beautiful singing voice. It was Branch. His singing brought out his true colors. He turned bright green with purple hair. He sang because his heart was full of the hope and joy that Poppy had showed him. He loved Poppy, and Poppy loved Branch. She and the other trolls started to sing too, and their true colors came back. Bridget couldn't let the Bergens eat her friends. She lifted the cover off of the pot so the trolls could escape. Bridget knew she would get in trouble, but she was glad she'd had one day of happiness on her date with the king. At Trollstis, the Bergens, eager to finally get a taste of happiness, were angry to discover that Bridget had set the trolls free. Just then, the trolls burst in to save her. They formed the rainbow wig again and landed right on Bridget's head. When King Gristle learned that Lady Glittersparkles was actually Bridget, he was overjoyed. He realized that he didn't need to eat a troll to be happy. All he needed was a full heart and Bridget by his side. They do look kind of happy, one Bergen admitted. Branch told everyone how miserable he'd been until Poppy had taught him how to dance and hug and sing. Before long, all the Bergens were dancing and singing too. The only Bergen who wasn't happy was Chef. Now that no one wanted to eat trolls, she was out of a job. Chef and Creek were banished from Bergentown, destined to be unhappy together. The trolls had brought happiness to Bergentown, but not in a way anyone had expected. The trolls had a huge celebration. Poppy was crowned the queen of the trolls and everyone cheered. After finally experiencing their true colors, the Bergens and the trolls now lived in peaceful harmony.
Kids Books.
Today's kids book is Pinkalicious, Mother's Day Surprise by Victoria Kahn. I was dreaming about a cupcake castle when pink, pink, pink went my alarm. I had set my alarm to go off early because it was Mother's Day and I had a lot to do. I was going to write a poem for Mommy and surprise her with breakfast in bed. I tiptoed into the kitchen. I wanted to make Mommy my culinary masterpiece, Pinkalicious's Pink Amazing Yogurt Parfait. I scooped yogurt and granola into a tall glass and put berries on top. I placed the parfait on the tray. Then I tied a pink ribbon around the napkin. It looked nice, but something was missing. Flowers. I sneaked outside and picked some flowers. I put the bouquet on the tray. Perfect. There was one thing left to do. I went into my bedroom, grabbed my pink pencil, and put on my writer's outfit. I wrote, M is for marvelous. O is for outstanding. M is for magnificent. M is for merry. Y is for yams? Yogurt? Yodeling? I was stuck. Yellow? I couldn't stop yawning. Another Y word that didn't work. I just needed to rest for a moment. I reset my alarm clock to wake me up in 10 minutes. Just a quick nap. I opened my eyes. The sun was shining brightly through my window. Oh no! I had slept through my alarm. Maybe no one had woken up yet. I listened carefully. I didn't hear anyone. I could still surprise Mommy. I crept into the kitchen and picked up the breakfast tray. I looked sadly at my unfinished poem, but I put it next to the bouquet anyway. I tiptoed into Mommy and Daddy's room. They were still asleep. I sneaked up to their bed. Surprise, Pinkalicious! Mommy and Daddy yelled. Peter popped up from under the covers where he had been hiding. Your alarm woke everyone up except you, Pinkalicious, Daddy said. We've been waiting for you to come find us, Mommy said. I'm supposed to surprise you, Mommy, I said. I wanted to make your day special, but I didn't even get to finish your Mother's Day poem. Can I read it? Mommy asked. Mommy looked at the poem and borrowed my pink pencil. She wrote something and handed it back to me. Y is for you, Pinkalicious, she said. You and Peter are what make Mother's Day special for me. Come help me eat this delicious breakfast, Mommy said. I put a raspberry into my mouth. I just thought of another word that begins with Y, I said. What's that? Mommy asked. Yummy.
Kids Books.
Today's kids book is Just Me and My Mom by Mercer Mayer. We went to the city, just me and my mom. Mom gave me some money to buy tickets for the train. I wanted to help Mom get on the train, but the steps were too high, so Mom helped me instead. But when the conductor came by, the tickets were gone, so Mom paid the conductor some more money. The city was very busy. I held Mom's hand so she wouldn't be scared. We went to the Museum of Natural History. They had rooms full of old dinosaur bones. I picked up a little dinosaur egg to show my mom, but someone ran up and grabbed it. I wasn't going to hurt it. I tried on some costumes just for my mom, but the museum guard didn't like that. Then we went next door to the aquarium. There were lots of fish in a big tank of water. They had some seals doing a show. Mom got mad because she couldn't find me. I ran up front to get a closer look at the seals. We went to the art museum, but it only had a lot of weird pictures, and I was getting tired. After that, we went to a very nice restaurant for lunch. We didn't stay, though. We decided to have a hot dog from a stand. That was more fun anyway. Mom wanted to go to a big store full of dresses and stuff like that. Yuck. Mom even made me try on some clothes. She bought me a new suit. Some guy measured me and stuck pins all over my clothes. We passed by the toys. I found the stuffed animal I always wanted, but Mom said, "It's time to go." We took a taxi ride to the train station. I got to ride in the front seat. The taxi driver drove real fast. That was cool. I let Mom buy the tickets this time. She said she didn't have enough money to buy more tickets if these got lost. Good idea, Mom. We had fun, just me and my mom. I even stayed awake all the way home. Well, almost. Kids, if you'd like to hear more books about your favorite characters, just touch on one of the colorful pictures on your screen. Parents, if you'd like to buy Just Me and My Mom for your child via Amazon, just click on the link in the description. See you tomorrow for more kids books.